Chris, I'm on mute.
Stream. We should be back. Oh, dear me.
Just going to refresh, double check.
Apologies. Absolutely no idea what happened there. It just all went poof, and everything disappeared. But it's fine.
It was in protest of me messing up my demo. That's what it was. It was like, right, we don't want to watch her anymore. Kick her out.
Move that out the way, Mick.
I've never seen it do that. Everybody disappeared, and I was like, oh, not going to swear. Oh no! Oh, now I've left my iron on my fabric and I've burnt it.
Oh no!
No, I haven't.
It's not your day, Hayley.
It's fine. It's because I jinxed it, didn't I? Because I said,
You did.
You know, we weren't. Oh, it's all going swimmingly today, and we're not having any problems. Famous last words, isn't it? Famous last words. So, Sue.
Yes.
Are you nearly ready?
Yeah,
And
I'm
what
all
are you
ready.
going to be demoing for us today as well?
Yeah, I'm going to be demoing the Concertina purse, and then the second demo, I'm going to demo.
Oh, hey, if you've seen the state in there, we all need.
The pattern is available on the website, but I'm just going to show you how. Sorry?
Your camera's a little bit bouncy at the minute. Have you got it on a stand?
Is that better?
That's better. Perfect. Right, I shall pass it over to you, and I shall let you crack on.
Right, okay, I'll switch over. It'll come on to me in a minute. Right. No, we don't want him on. We don't want him on, do we? It worked before. Right. No, it's still got him. God knows what's happening. No.
Oh, now we can see your rug and your fire.
I know. Let me try again and see if it'll work this time. Right.
This is the best secret sewing
No.
ever.
Oh dear. No, it's not doing the. Hang on. It'll have to go this way.
Michelle, are you ready to go? We'll let Sue sort out the technical issues.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Ready now.
Hello.
No problem.
Oh, dear me. You see all sorts of...
Right. Oh no, I haven't put your camera back in. Don't worry, Sue. We'll let you get sorted. I will just very quickly. I haven't sorted. Haven't updated because it obviously kicked everybody out. I haven't updated your link because every time it kicks everybody out, I have to go and put everybody back in again. So let me just very quickly add that link, and then Michelle is good to go. We'll sort your. I mean, we had a lovely view of Mick's shorts though.
Yeah, well, great shots, not time.
Right, Michelle, I'll pass it over to you, and we'll let Sue get her camera sorted.
Okay.
There you go.
Hello. I don't know if you've got me. We've had a bit of some interesting technical issues today, including, some poor chap who don't think he wanted to be on here, but we saw him anyway. So I'll just carry on with my bit as if everything's running beautifully smoothly in the background. I'm Michelle from Thimblewood, and I'm going to show you some of my kits. I tend to design kits and patterns. And today we're going all summery and looking at some summery things. So let me show you. Got Captain Chips. His little hat's on backwards. Here you go. He's a little project that you can make. He's a really easy three-dimensional project. He's got a sort of a front and a back, some wings, and the only there's no gusset involved. We've just done what is like a sugar bag corner. So along there to create the volume, the depth there.
So
and that's where his little legs are inserted.
Is that the same
I love
as
his
like
little
a
knotty
box
legs.
bottom?
Look, can you see? He's got knotty knees. My husband always says that the knees were modelled on him. I'm not so sure. Not so sure. So he's a nice little kit that a lot of people like to make. And we'll carry on to our next thing. I'm going to show you one of these. Now this is in a little embroidery hoop. It's embroidery for people who can't embroider. It's really, really simple. We use a printed panel, which I'm going to get out of the box and show you. I grab my box down. Let's open this up. It's not going to open for me. So in here, in all your materials, can you see, you've got a printed panel. I'm going to pull it all out. And I'm going to put it down onto the table, so maybe it'll be a bit easier to see it there. There we go. I'll show you there instead. So in here, we've got all kinds of stuff in that kit. So there's your printed panel. So you can see you've got a piece of fabric there. That's the background. And these are all the little three-dimensional elements. If I go on here, I might be able to show you if I get up close. Can you see how these are three-dimensional? They're sort of sticking out a bit. And the way I've done that is I've used a piece of Bondaweb, which has managed to delaminate itself. But Bondaweb does this sometimes. If you ever get a piece of Bondaweb and it's looking like this, don't panic. It's just come off its little backing. Just kind of get it vaguely back in position. You can iron that onto the back of there. You then iron it onto your felt. You get a nice chunky piece. You're going to cut all your elements out and lay them on top. You can see in this one, you've got a bit of Hessian. That's in the kit for you. You've got a little tiny bit of rick-rack, a little bit of trim there. And there's embroidery threads. I managed to lose those over here. There's your embroidery threads. I always use DMC embroidery threads. If you've used DMC and all the alternatives, you'll know why I only ever use DMC. And you can see the stitching is so simple on there. It really is for beginners, for people who've never done any embroidery before, because, you know, it's a straight stitch. You know, these straight stitches here, more straight stitches at a different angle, a big cross, you know, 2 big straight stitches. It's certainly embroidery for those who haven't ever tried embroidery before. And you can, you know, with very, very simple stitches, you can create something really attractive. So, oh, you get the hoop too. I like my English made. These are English made beechwood hoops. If you've ever tried the bamboo ones, you'll know the difference. It's a beautiful wooden hoop, and that comes in the kit. You also, in that kit, you're going to get your full instructions as well. As always, you've seen my instructions before. Loads of step-by-step photos. Even though you've got the printed panel, I give you all the templates too. So if you've used the printed panel and you think, oh, I want to make another of those, you've got all those templates. You can make another. Or I can sew you another printed panel if you want one. So I'm going to put that one aside now. And we'll go on to our next little thing. I'm losing all my bits, but let's just get that out of the way quickly. Okay. We are going to move on to this one, which is our bursting beach hut. And I don't know if you've ever seen this one on the stand before, but it's in a TUI box and it's a sewing box. So I think what I'm going to do is lift it higher so that you can see it. Hopefully you've got this nice view of me, of my face, or have you got this view at the moment? I'm asking my husband. Face. Oh, hello. Okay, so when you lift the lid off, it flops open, and inside, it's a bit difficult to hold it at an angle where you can see it without everything falling off. I'm going to go back down to the table. There we go. Inside, you can see we have all these different flaps, and I'm going to show you what each one is. Well, this one's fairly straightforward. It's just some elastic that's holding in a couple of reels of thread. Over here, you can fit a pair of scissors. There's little small scissors in there. I have managed to lose my little scissors. They don't actually fit in there. They fit down in there. So a tiny pair of embroidery scissors will fit there. I shall send someone to find some in a minute so you can see that in the little ice cream. On this side, we have a nice big needle wallet. This is a generous size needle wallet, so I know what it's like. You end up losing lots of needles. And in the back of there is a magnet. So that kind of flicks on. I don't know if you can see how it's clasping on. My husband is now desperately looking for the scissors. So I'm just going to tell him they're in the kitchen on the side. There you go. On this side, we've got somewhere to store those little clips. These clips are fab. I don't know if you've tried these. Just a tiny little clip.
Michelle,
yeah.
He's doing a very good job of running about and getting all your bits for you.
Oh, he is, isn't it? I got him well trained. Here he is. He's coming back. Woo! This is coming. This is when he brings me a pair of kitchen scissors or something.
Magic hands.
There you go. That's where the scissors go, in there. You see? So that's a little case for your scissors, your needles, place for your clips. Your thread goes there. In the roof, you've got a bit more storage as well. Again, we've got the sort of the little elastics, and I've got a tape measure in there, and there's usually a quick unpick in there, but I had to use it, so it's not in there at the moment. And what else have we got? In the middle of this, when it all closes up, our seagull stands in the middle, and he does fit in, you see? And I made a little seagull because he's Captain Chip's little baby. See, it's a little version of this one. We need to open the bottom. My husband is now trying his hardest not to laugh, and that always makes me laugh even more. Anyway, when we open the bottom up here, we've got a little thimble. There. So not that you need such an elaborate place to store your thimble, but hey, I could do it, so I did it. And that just wraps around, and the threads go back around him like that. He's also got a little magnet down the bottom of that little stump, so he stands there quite nicely and doesn't fall over when he's behaving. And I'm just going to show you how it all closes back up. There we go. And you put the roof back on, and it holds it all together, so it looks like a little beach hut. It's quite a big project. There's quite a lot to do, but I'm going to show you a few little elements of it just to give you a bit of a taster, because it would take a long time for me to cover the whole thing. So let's start with the basic construction. So you need to cut out various panels of card, and then they're padded with a bit of wadding, okay, and covered in your fabric. So when you get your patterns, the pattern pieces are for your card inners. Don't go cutting your fabric straight away. It does make it really clear on that pattern, but just to be on the safe side, cut these out. Don't cut those just yet, because you want to make sure that those pieces are bigger to go around, big enough. I'm putting this on the wrong way. You want the padding there, card on there, and then we're going to turn those over like that. So this has got to be, you need more fabric here to be able to make that turn. Okay, now this is one of the only projects I have that actually requires quite a lot of gluing. Because this is card, you can't really sew into this. So I use a glue stick. And my advice with glue sticks is get a cheapy one. The expensive ones are too sticky. You know, the quality branded ones are too good. So what you actually want is a bit of a rubbishy one. And I try and put the glue not on the very, very edge, just a bit further in. The reason you don't want to put the glue on the very edge is because in a bit you're going to be sewing that, and if you've got glue all along that edge, it's going to be really hard to sew, and you're going to get your needle all gammed up. So what you tend to do whenever you're covering panels is you'll do one side and then the opposite. And this one's a little bit tricky because it's got a point, but we'll do both these. And then you give it a little tug when you're pulling it over, so that you can get it nice and tight. You don't want it saggy. Don't worry about these little eary bits. Just let them be for now. Okay, so I'm just squishing that down. Okay, so you can see I've done that much. I've got my ear sticking up here. We'll worry about that in a minute. I'm just going to peel that back a bit so I can get the glue, again, not too close to the edge, in a bit from the edge. And we're going to pull the one. Don't pull it too tight at the moment because we haven't turned this one over yet. So just pull this kind of smooth. Again, allow those little ear bits to stick up. And onto our last side here. A bit more glue. I'm just going to lift that so I can get it right glued in. Now you can give this a bit nicer tug and pull it over the edge. Again, just allowing those ear bits to stick up is the easiest way to do it. Okay. Now what I tend to do now with these extra bits, I don't bother gluing them. I just sort of finger press them down, because all you want them to do is to get out of your way, really. I'm going to put the lid on my glue before it dries up. This one up here, obviously a little bit trickier because you've got a bit more space. I might just actually glue that one down for ease. I don't think I did put enough on there. But the others, just a finger press out of your way is actually good enough. So there, you can see now I've covered that panel. It's nicely covered. It's nice and smooth, a bit of fluff on there. Nice and tight, it's not baggy at all. And that's what you're going to do with all of the panels inside the box. You see, that's the basis for this ice cream. It's the basis for this one. It's even the base, obviously they're square, they haven't got the point on these sides. One of those there and one of those there. You're going to do that 4 times for each, and you're going to do the one for the center as well. I have got a little example of that, some of them done. You know, there's 2 edges. There's another one. I have got some more somewhere, but I seem to have managed to. Oh, I've got some that aren't covered. There you go. You see, I think my child has done some drawings on the back of that one. You never know what you're going to find, do you?
It's just another seagull, isn't it? It's just another. Is it a chicken?
Is it a seagull? It might be a seagull.
Might be a chicken with a hat.
I think some kind of bird. There we go.
Okay.
I've got. So that's what you're going to do with those.
I've actually got a duck here today.
With the outer edges, you're basically doing the same. This time for the outside, I've actually covered sheets of Palmit Vilene. So this is Palmit Vilene. It's the stuff they used to use to make the palmits on your curtains, the boxy bit up at the top. It's nice and stiff. It's made by Vilene, you know, the interfacing people. And it's called extra heavy Vilene. It's not extra heavy Palmit Vilene. They only do it in one weight, which is extra heavy. So this Palmit Vilene is what I use to stiffen things. Because this box required a bit of weight as well as stiffening, I've used both Palmit Vilene and card to give the combination of the weight and you can sew through this, whereas you can't sew through card. So for your outside edges, I've done exactly the same, but I've covered the Palmit Vilene and I've covered it in some of this ticking. So this is, you know, something that our pillows used to be made of years ago. I don't think they tend to be anymore, but it's quite a nice stripy fabric. And the one thing to remember on here is you want all your stripes to line up. So when you finish, you want those stripes to go in a nice line. You don't want them to be kind of offset like that and look out, you know, out of place. So the way to do that, the easy way, is to just remember that when you're lying these pieces on, always line up in the same place. So if you're going to line up at the very bottom of a stripe there, make sure every single piece is on the bottom of a stripe, you know, and then, you know, I think that's what I've done here. The very bottom edge is always a blue stripe, not the white stripe. Doesn't matter on the base. You can't line that up. So just do whatever. You can see on here, I've got a little door. And I'll show you how I make the door. We have pretty simple stuff. Little piece of Palmit Vilene, little piece of Palmit Vilene. You're going to cover that. I've done it. Layer it up onto some felt, and then you're going to sew a little heart on there. So that's how you make the little door, and then you can stitch that to the front. And because this is Palmit Vilene, you can just stitch straight through. It's a little bit more resistant than just, you know, just some fabric, but you know, it is easy enough just to stitch. There is also, if I can swap to my other one, there is also a little window on the back. If I turn him over, there we go. There's a little window on the back and a door on the front. There is a button in the kit to put on for a door handle. I've never sewn my door handle on, and I don't know why I've not done it, but there we go. I've not done it yet. So let's have a little look at what we've got inside here and show how these are made. So,
Michelle,
yeah,
I have a question.
Okay.
Somebody's asking if they don't want to sew or they're not that good at sewing, can they glue some of these pieces?
Definitely yes. Definitely yes. I'd say use your cheap glue stick to cover your panels, and even when you start attaching the inner panels to the outer panels, you know, again, you can use glue. For that, I'd probably choose a all-purpose glue. There's one in a very fancy yellow packing that is my favourite. I don't know why I'm worried about saying the brand name. It's you do.
You're allowed to say things on here because we're not a commercial, you know, station.
I was merely telling about. Yeah. Anyway, so the Yoo-hoo glue is the one I would use, and yes, you can use quite a lot of glue on this project. You could glue the little rick-rack on there if you want to. There are some areas you will have to sew, like the joints. It's, you know, you're going to have to make that a stitch joint, but certainly it will cut down a lot of the sewing if you want to. So I'm going to go and show you quickly how I made this little ice cream. It's just layers of felt. It's really simple. So you go, oh, the magic hands appeared with some glue. Woo! So this is how we did the ice cream. You put your little rows of rick-rack across first, and then I've got these sort of 3 bits of ice cream. To get that dimension, I've just sewn this one all the way around. This one I've sewn just at these edges, so it still lifts here. And then this one, the same, I've sewn just at these edges, so it still lifts here. And that gives the sort of dimension that you can see. I've done a little flake in my ice cream. You see, that's just a doubled over piece of felt that gets sandwiched in down there somewhere. And the little little cone is a bit more tricky because you want to have a nice double layer here for the scissor keeper. So you sew those two together to make a double layer before you sew it on. There's a little extra bit just to give that definition there, because you want your scissors to sit in underneath there. So that's the little ice cream. This one is just straightforward. It's on the panel. When you've got the covered panel, I've just got some elastic and wrapped it round. You know, if you wrap it round twice, I tend to do it with glue again, with this glue. Glue it onto the back, wrap it round once, wrap it round twice, and then glue, and that, I've let go of it now, but there you go. You can see how I've made that section there. It's pretty simple. Okay, let's try and show you how to do the little clip holder, if I can find a piece of fabric long enough. Okay, so this one, all I've done is I've added a second layer of fabric with 2 folds in it. So once you've covered your panel, you're going to stitch your anchor at the top there, your felt anchor, and then you take a second piece with a couple of folds in it. Now the instructions are going to give you all these measurements. I'm just doing it, I'm just winging it just to show you quickly. And that's going to sit on the bottom of there, wrapped around again. You see now you've got 2 places you can put those clips onto. So that's how that one's done. So we're getting there. I think we've got quite a bit more to carry on with. My little fish, I've lost my little fish. Where's my fish gone? Oh, well, I'll just show you this fish. This fish, 2 pieces of palmet violin covered, a bit of rickrack. This is again a smaller covered panel, and I've just put some layers of felt in, and then when I put this panel on, I've glued it down inside first. So down in there, I've sandwiched that in so that can fold over. And again, there's a little tiny strap there that you sandwich in before you glue that there. That's all of those. We've sorted those, haven't we? So that's our outer. And then we'll move on to the lid. So the lid, a little bit more complicated in its construction because you've got a piece here, a piece here. You've got 2 panels, angular, and 2 little flaps there. But it's quite straightforward to do it. You sort of do it flat and then you sew in an overstitch to assemble. On the front, I've put a bit of bunting. And that's done like this. So I've got a bit of thread there. And you've just cut some diamond shapes out of felt. You put the thread through the middle, fold it over, and sew those 2 edges. Along there and along there, and that's what makes your little bunting that sits on the front. The little flag on the top, it's a piece of wire that I've covered in felt, and on the end I've got another piece, palmet violin, covered again, folded over, and that's how the little flag is made there. Okay, I think I'm getting hand signals that my time is running out, so what should I show you quickly now? Let's sew. They're polite hand signals, honest. We've got a little life ring, so 2 pieces of felt, sew those together. Got these little like bow tie shaped pieces of red. You push those through the middle, pop it round, and sew 4 of those on to make the little stripy bits that you can see. And then some tiny extra pieces makes the little edge hooks to hold the cord around the edge. So he's just for decoration, really. I was going to sew it onto the front of here. That was my initial plan. Oops, I can't pick it up. To have it sort of up there. But then it wouldn't lie flat when it opened, so I decided to leave it separate. And where's my little seagull gone? Here he is. He's the last little finishing touch. You've got a front, 2 pieces there, and a gusset. 2 legs. The legs are wired. The wire I've sort of twisted into his feet as well so that they're nice and firm. And then this is a very simple little pot shape that you can open up with the string for it to sit into the middle. Now I did this with a sewing group, and a couple of the ladies made it into jewellery boxes rather than sewing cases, which I thought was quite a clever little idea. So you can adapt them into something else if you want to. There we go. There's our little beach hut.
I shall go and grab everybody. There we go. Oh, Sue's ready this time.
Hey.
Yeah, it's all sussed. Look, I can see her switching between her cameras.
She's got it sorted now.
Have you
It
got
takes
it
us all a
sussed, Sue?
while.
Have you got it sussed now?
Yes. We know
Okay.
what happened.
You know what happened. Excellent.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So,
It took us a couple of seconds to switch over.
oh, we've got you a little bit crackly at the minute. Let me just see if I can fix that for you. I've just sent a thing saying refresh your microphone. It'll probably put you a thing up on your screen. Just if you can click it for me, that should sort it out. Did that work? Maybe.
Oh, we've gone off.
Yeah, you're a little bit crackly, my love.
Is that better? Yeah. It's been a bit. I don't know whether there's a storm overhead or what.
Okay. Well, do you wanna give it a go, and we'll see how you get on?
Yeah. Okay. Let me
Okay.
just flick it over.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. Hang on. All the lot's gone now.
Yeah, you've gone a bit black now.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't
just
have
tell me
jinxed
to log
it,
back
Hayley.
in.
Yeah, no, I mean, I jinxed this morning, didn't I? I jinxed it because when we started, it was all like, oh yay, there's no problems today, whoop whoop.
Oh,
No,
she's disappeared
oh,
totally
she's
in
gone.
another. Oh, there we go.
She's back.
Yay!
Hang on a second. I'll just have to reconnect her on my end. There's one. And then there's two. Oh, no, she's gone again. Right, I'll give you a minute, Sue. I'll tell you what I'll do is we've got some little bits from Craft Yourself Silly which I need to show you before I chop it all up. Because I'm busy doing a sample here which I can show you as a demo a little bit later on. But what I am... Oh, she's back on. Hang fire. We're back. Let me... Yes, we're back on. Let me just see if I can reconnect you. And the sound's better. Splendid. Okay, let me just get that copy and pasted. Because every time people log out and log in again, it puts up a different code, which I have to put back in. It's thinking, it's thinking. There she is. Right, I'm handing it over to you, Sue. You look terrified.
No, I'm not.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, then just confused then.
No,
Maybe
I'm
just
not.
confused.
Just
It's
thinking
all-
what's going on.
It's all yours. You are now live.
Right. Okay. Right. First of all, I just want to show you the craft bag. It is quite large, and it holds a lot of wool. And also, I tend to find these extremely useful because if you drop a stitch, you've got a crochet hook to pick it back up again. Much easier than trying to pick it up ordinary. Plus, you've got your markers. So that's just the go-to sewing bag. Right now, let's crack on. Right, the Concertina pouch. What I've done, I've already, you sew it together, you put right sides together and you attach the interfacing to the wrong side of the main fabric and then turn it out. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to sew along here, round there and along, and then on the bottom seam. So let's get this going. Make sure I've got the right size stitch. I do suggest if you're doing top stitching, the minimum stitch is a length 3 because it just works nice. So all I'm going to do is just do a top stitch. It's much easier to do it now rather than leave it till later on. So all the way around, gently round the curve. Even the machine's going slow. So there again, and along the top. the edges of cotton out of the way. So right, the donkey comes in very useful, particularly when you've got to sew right on the edge. So now we're going to do the long bottom seam. See if the donkey will work. These come together quite quickly. I thought to demo it would be the easiest way, because when you're folding it, you might think, oh, I'm a bit confused there, but there are lots of photos in the pattern. So, because I know some people like to follow pictures and others are better off reading. So I give you the choice of both. So let me just snip that off. Good old duckbill. So now, if you just press that, because what you're doing, you're actually sealing the stitches. So there we go, nice and sealed. Now this is where the fun starts. What we got to do, we do it on the, decide which you want as the wrong side and the right side. Now I'm having that as the right side, so we'll turn it over. And then if you get these two edges, and just push them down gently to where they join for a gentle mark, and then just fold it back just so that you can see that these edges match up. So go there, turn it round. I'm normally doing this standing up, so there we go, line that up, and those match. It just takes a little bit of it's a bit fiddly, but when you get there, the result is well worth it. So right, that's got that. Now press. Just press it firmly. Okay. I tend to just go down the outside as well, just so you really are getting a good crease. Now what we're going to do, we're going to fold that back, and where the crease is, that's where you're going to stitch. So let's just get a couple of pins. You can, if you want to, clip it just to hold it in place. Okay, got the big ones. So just clip that so it's holding it. And you've got that nice crease then down here. Now, I can see that crease, so I'm just also going to put a pin to stop it from moving. In there. Now, just fold it out, and we're going to sew down that line. And if you want to, just put a pencil mark. So again, let's get that in the centre. So, right. Now what I do, I always do a back stitch, because that's going to take a lot of strain. Just fold it down. And again, another back stitch to hold it. I'm sure this phone sells out, this machine sends out Morse code. So just snip the edges, get rid of any tiny little bits, take your pins out, clips off, and then just do that so you can see, yeah, that's fine. So we'll give it another press, another firm press. But I thought, as I said, I thought it was easier to show you how to fold rather than waste time in showing you how to stitch around the outside. So, right, that's that. So now what we're going to do, we're going to fold that back and we're going to stitch down there. Like. So again, just hold it, do a back stitch, and then now again I'm using the edge of the quilt so I get a nice straight line. Back again, that one. If I don't do these now, I sometimes forget to take the edges off. So let's just get those out of the way, cut off the dead bits. And we'll do the same on the other side. I'm just going to turn that over because I don't have to use the dummy there, the donkey, to get these bits done. Down the edge. So then it comes together very, very easy. Okay. People that haven't seen these scissors, they're called duckbill. And if you're doing any applique or anything, they're great because you really can get close to the stitching because it files down, but also you use the curved edge to cut through. They are my go-to scissors now. So right, we've got that. Now pressing is the thing. So give it another press, and then when you fold it up, you'll see. So what we do now, we fold it up like that. Just fold that back. Just pin that so it stays nice, and then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to sew down that seam. Might need the donkey. So get that under there.
Sue?
Yeah.
I've got a couple of questions. What's the donkey? People are asking,
The
what's the donkey?
Right, the donkey actually is just a piece of scrap fabric, any piece of scrap, and what happens is you just fold it once or twice, whatever, but if you're trying to sew on the edge, sometimes the machine will cough and splutter a bit. So by doing it this way, you get a nice even row of stitching, and you just use any old piece. I think it was Jenny Raymond that actually decided to call it the donkey.
That's fine. It's questions that are coming in, so I'm trying to kind of feed them to
that's
you.
what the donkey is. It's just a piece of scrap fabric.
Chris says that's a fabulous maker and she loves it. And also, I've got another question asking, have you got your duckbill scissors back in stock? Because when we were
yes, I have.
Because when we were last together
back in
on
stock. I mean, I will show you something, just how useful they are when you're trimming back fabric. So again, we fold it back. Fold that back there. Put the pin in to hold its place. And you see, sometimes, as I was saying about the donkey, if you're trying to get them, the first couple of stitches, sometimes they don't always catch. But by putting the donkey there, you're sewing onto the donkey, so you've already got something that the foot is carrying and holding on to. And then pop the donkey up, pop the fabric back on, and you'll see that it actually really does hold it. So down. I mean, just any fabric. I mean, it's a good idea if you've got the fabric that is the same texture. In other words, if it's all cotton, rather than using canvas. It just helps to give you a straight and even stitching line. So sort that one out, and that's that. And then you'll see if you pop that down, you can use your scissors to actually go along the bottom and just catch it. They are, I wouldn't be without them. I found them a few years ago and they really are my go-to now. So we just give it another press. Yes, you do press a lot. And then all we've got to do is the snap fastener. That's that. As you'll see, we've already got the concertina. And you've got neat edges. I can see a bit of cotton there, so just get the duck bill, go in, catch that edge, and that one. So now it's the snap fastener. Now you could either use what we still used to call a press stud, although you go in the shops now and they call those snap fasteners. So I'll just pick a colour. Where are we here? Might just pop an orange one on. Now with these you get different sides.
So are these the cam snaps, the plastic
these
ones
are the
that
cam
you
snaps.
Squeeze together? These are great, and I think if anybody hasn't tried these,
right, yeah,
definitely should.
Yeah, they make life a lot easier. So what you have to do when you're getting the snaps, you have one that is like that, and it's got a flat back, and then you have one that is like this, because that goes into there. And it's very easy, if you don't stop and think, you end up trying to put two of those on, and then of course they don't work. So find you've already found the center by the seam underneath, and you can feel it. So just pop it over, and wherever you want to put it, so then that's the center there. So I'll just come through, and now I just push a hole in the top. So that's in there, and I can just about see there. So it's much easier to do these now while you can see. So let's get, so push, you'll see the hole on the back, push it through, and just, I always like to finger press it down a little bit, and then pop that on, just press it down, but just hold it. And then what we're going to do, they've got special pliers, so you just line that up, and it's lined up on the back. Give it a good old squeeze, and that's the one done. You'll see on there how it fixes to the back. So now, remember, you do it on the outside, push it through, you can see it on that. Pop that on, making sure it's the right way round. And then again, pop it onto the machine, give it a good squeeze, and you'll see that what was a pointy bit, let me find another one. We've got one in a different colour, but at least you can see it. See it. So you'll see, because when you push that on to the pin, it's the pin that gets flattened and spreads out, so that holds it in place. So then all you've got to do, and that's it. That's your concertina purse done.
Brilliant. Everybody, again, not many comments today. Everybody's just loads watching. Everybody's transfixed today.
So that's how you make the concertina purse. It's nice and easy. Now, I just want a piece of...
While you're looking for that, what I'll do is I will just quickly hop onto your website and show everybody where these products are if they want to get hold of them. Okay. You do that, I'll go on your website. Sounds like a deal. Right, so this is Sue's website here. It's you go to designandsew.co.uk and that will bring you out here. Now she seems to have very kindly put all of the things that she's demonstrating today right on that first page. So you should be able to see everything there, including the duckbill scissors, which we're going to go back to Sue to have a look at in just a second. But all of the ones that she's shown you, things like the Lizzie bag there, the Concertina purse, which she's just finished demoing. And the beauty of this is that's not just a pattern, that includes your fabric as well. So there's some really, really good prices on here. And the crochet accessory kit, which she showed you as well. Hang on, I can just see her running back. Let me just switch it. There you go. She sat down, so I shall switch it back to Sue. So if you want to go onto Sue's website, obviously you can see the website at the bottom there, designandsew.co.uk, or if you grab the QR code there, that will take you straight to Sue's website.
Right, what I'm saying is if you've got two seams together and you've got your wadding, so let's just give that a sew. Like when you've got a front and back of the bag. So, normally when you're trying to trim back, you're sort of very carefully going so that you don't catch the fabrics. Duckbill scissors, you lay it flat between the two fabrics and it's that easy. And I mean, I'm doing this quickly, but as you'll see, you've still got your seam here, but when you fold it back, you don't have the bulk that you would have if you didn't trim the wadding back. I mean, I use it as well if I want to trim interfacing back, but you can see how that lies. So fold it back, just fold it back, lay the scissors flat and just snip along. Now it's also handy as well if you do it when you're doing the top of a bag and you need to cut the edge off. It's much easier just to get into the corner here. Let's do it there. Just get into there and just snip those edges off. So easy. And then all you got to do, give it a press, and there is no bulk in your seam then.
I'm thinking quilt as you go as well, because I know Sarah does a lot of quilt as you go projects.
Yeah, it's great. They're great quilt as you go because everything lies nice and flat. Whereby with ordinary scissors, I think it's rather difficult to try and get it to just lie flat. And then if you want to do top stitching, put a nice big stitch. You're only sewing through 3 layers of fabric rather than 4. So that's why, you know, I just love these scissors. They're so handy.
Splendid. I shall go and grab the other girls and we'll come back together.
And then what we'll be doing, I'll just show you what we'll be demoing next. Now this is what's called a cable tidy. I designed this because I got fed up of knitting spaghetti every time I wanted to get cable. So open it up, cable's in the bottom, plug in the top, and it's a big plug. Just fold it up You can give it a shake and nothing falls out. Great for holidays, weekends. They're even great at home, so you know where all the cables are.
Excellent. Right, let me go and grab the girls then.
Right.
We'll all come back together for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just saying to about Quilt As You Go. Those would be great for trimming all that.
Yeah, they really would. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, they're fab. They're brilliant for like if you're doing reverse applique and stuff like that as well, because they'll sit flat and you don't get the rest, all the bits underneath. Yeah, they're fab.
They're absolutely super. I very rarely use small scissors now. I use those all the time.
No, brilliant, brilliant. So what I will do is, because I'm very quickly cutting this up, so I need to show you it before there is literally none left. Because I've stuck some of this on. I don't know how much of this is going to hold if, oh, not all of it. If I try and hold it up, because I haven't quite got my other camera set up yet. But this is one of the panels. I'm going to be so careful. Oh, not careful enough. It all fell. They all fell. They're not stuck yet. That's fine. But I'm using one piece of fabric. We've got some beautiful batiks in at the minute. And there's such a kind of different graduation in them that I'm creating kind of rows of different colours with one piece of fabric, which is very cute. So I'm going to quickly show you all of those. Let me just turn this iron off. And, that's hot. Move the iron without burning my fingers and show you these fabrics really, really quickly. And then we are off back to see Sarah. Did you do your unpicking, my love?
I did, and I realised I folded it right.
Diagonal, my love. Did you
Fold
not
it
have
right.
to go on a diagonal?
No, it is supposed to be half, but you're supposed to do the sides first and then pinch and do the long one. I just did one step too many.
Okay, that's fine. Let me just grab a cable so I can get the other camera up, and then you can see these on the overhead rather than me dingling them about. Oh, I'll jingle them, it's fine. So let me switch. There we go. So what we have is, if you hop on our website, that will be at the bottom there, craftyourselfsilly.com. I'm just quickly gonna just shush these people in my ear for a second. There are all of these new batiks up. So they are all like this. There's no kind of swirly patterns on these ones, not like the one behind me. These are all just kind of plain gradient batiks that we've got. They're all kind of got like a salt dye effect. Can you see where they've got the little kind of the little spots and sparkles within them? That's done by adding salt when they dye it. So this one here is which way around is it? Yeah, it's that way around. It's Elsa, because Emma was naming them and she thought this one looked very you know, very Disney Frozen, so that one got named Elsa. Then I've got some like mad rainbowy ones. Well, I should do the mad rainbowy ones first, and then I've got some that are kind of more like single tone ones. Where's my other mad rainbowy ones? There it is. So we've got this one. This one is very much the colours that we have in our Violet Vibes roll. I'm trying to see which way is the front. It's this way. There we go. This one. So it goes from greens through the blues and the purples, again with that lovely kind of salt dyed aspect where it's got those little kind of sparkles and speckles within there. That one's called Letty. These are all available at an introductory price on our website by the half metre. Then, look at this bad boy. This one's all of the rainbows. All of the rainbows. Which one's Iris, this one's called. And it is all of the colours. So it has all of the colours in the rainbow. Now I'm showing you fat quarters here. You are getting half meters, so you'll get this and then this more or less the same colours repeated again that way. So this one is Iris, so you're going from your yellows into your greens and your blues, your pinks, your reds, your oranges, your yellows, and back to your greens. I am completely covering my laptop, so we'll not be able to see after this. That's fine. But you see, if I show you them now, I can finish cutting one of them up and then finish the project, which I can show you in a minute. So then this one is all the kind of natural tones. This one's called Sienna. Initially, when I first saw it, I thought, it's a bit dark. But actually, I think that one, especially if you're doing applique and things, and you're doing woodland scenes, you're doing the kind of things that need all of those natural tones, this is it. I mean, how good of a tree bark would that make? And then you've got this bit which you can use for the leaves. Maybe you want to use it the other way. Maybe you're doing landscapes. I think that one's got, of all of them, initially didn't like it, but actually I think that one has the most potential. And then this, oh, that one, I did give you that name, didn't I? This one is Amy, but spelt weird. This, check I've got it the right way around. Yes, this way. There you go. So that one, all those sunset colours. So the pinks, the reds, the oranges, the purples, all of those kind of sunset tones. That one, again, beautiful. And then, is that all 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so they're all the rainbow ones. They're all the ones with multiple colours. Then we've got ones that are more kind of about like a single colour palette. So the one with the most variation is this one here, which goes from purple to pinky red. This one is called Ruby. Then we've got, I like this one the best. I think this is Soda Light. This is my favorite. Just colour tones in this one I think are absolutely beautiful. So again, you're getting that kind of batik style, those little kind of salt dyed, see if I can get that closer. There you go. Those little kind of salt dyed sparkles in there as well. Then we have the kind of purple one. I believe that's, no, Tanzanite. I thought this was the amethyst one. It's not. How pretty is that? I mean, even for dressmaking, even if you want to make a floaty summer top or something like that, it is by the ½ metre, so you can have as much or as little as you need. Amethyst with those blue tones. That one's really striking. Love it. And then the last one I need to show you is, where's my sticker? I can't see my sticker. Oh yeah, there we go. Peridot, there you go. And that's going from greens into blues on that one. Very, very cute. I mean, even just kind of infinity scarves in those would be absolutely beautiful. I am working with the Elsa one, which I've got up here, and I am adding in additional kind of colours. But what I will do is I'll get everything ironed on for this, and then I will show you how it constructs, because it's very, very clever. The maths is done for you. You just get to do the nice bit and pick the colours. So let me go and grab the girls and then ask if Sarah is ready.
Just drop the iron.
Sarah. Oh, Sue's gone.
Hi.
Are you ready?
Ready and waiting, lovely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Sue's gone.
Sue's wandered off.
Oh,
No, it's all right. I dropped the iron. I dropped the iron. I just had to go and pick it back up.
You've left the
Really
iron.
easy to burn.
Sue, you're brilliant. Just let's have Sue every week, because this is it's a secret sewing club, chaotic and mildly hilarious.
Always. Yeah, always.
Right, let me just add you back in, Sarah, because it's whenever it kicked everybody out, it hasn't picked your camera back up. So let me just quickly do that. There you are, all sorted. Michelle,
Cool.
also remind me when we come back to you. I didn't get a chance to put your website up, so make sure, because I know you don't have a website as such.
I'd sell to Etsy.
Etsy, right, perfect.
That's
I've
right.
got it up, so next time we go to you, tell me in the beginning and we'll quickly flash that up so they can see all of your lovely kits as well. But in the meantime,
Brilliant,
we
thank
shall
you.
go and show lovely Sarah finishing off the project she started before.
Yes, indeed. I realised what I did. I went one step too far. I missed out a step. Always. Well, I don't know what you're implying, this is. So we'll very quickly finish this off. It's literally another 2 lines of stitching. Finish it off. I will give this one away, actually. Lots and lots of you have been ordering, which is amazing. Thank you very much. And then I will randomly pick an order, and I'll finish this off and I'll pop it in the order for you, okay? Anyone who orders. So what we're going to do, instead of stitching across the top, you've got to stitch down the sides first, and then you do the top. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to whip over. And remember, you can use this block just as a block in a quilt. But if you've got enough quilts and you want a quick project, just do this little bit, and you've got really, really cute little pin cushions. So I'm going to go down that side, and then I'll flip it over and we're going to do it down the other side. It's strange, isn't it? You think, oh yeah, I'm ready for demo. I know what I'm doing. And then there's just one thing, one step. You don't do them all the time. You forget them. So I'm going to come back over here. So I've stitched down those sides now. And then we're going to open this out. Okay, so you've got those two middle bits. Grab hold of those, pull them out, and then line up those side seams. I like that. Okay, and then make one go one way, one the other. Grab a little clip and pop that in there. Now you need to leave a gap for turning, so don't leave it right in the middle. Okay, you don't want all this bulk on your turning bit, so we're going to leave a little gap over here. So I'm just going to make a little mark to remind me to leave my gap. So I'm going to start sewing at the edge here and then leave what, sort of a 2.5 inch gap like that. Okay, so I'm not going to sew that bit, and then I'm going to start again there and go all the way across. So last little bit of stitching. I will turn this through and I will stuff it and I will give it away, guys, because I know you can never have enough pin cushions, but I've got about 3 of these cathedral window ones in my favorite fabrics, so I thought I'll give this one away with one of the orders. So I've just stitched down there, and then I'm going to start the other side of my turning gap and just stitch down here, just manipulate it so it's all nice and straight. Get that down in there and then all the way down like that. Get your fingers under there and off the end. Okay, and then back over we go, and then we're going to turn it through that little gap. Okay, so let's see if I've actually left enough space. Once you get it going, it goes through lovely. There we go. And they are, despite the obvious error earlier, they are actually very quick to make, and they look really good. And I like them because I can get my binding clips on them too. So you need to talk amongst yourselves. No, it's okay. I've been laughing at all the comments about the batiks, because the minute you put the rainbow one up, everybody knows the other gecko. Sarah Jane went, oh, that's a Sarah Jane batik. Because not only is she a batik obsessed, she's also rainbow obsessed. So it'd be a perfect one for her, that one. Pop all your corners out like that. Get a turning tool in there, make it all nice and neat. Okay. And then you're going to use that little gap there to stuff it. But there's your little pin cushion ready done now. Okay. So once you've stuffed it, you'll end up with something that looks like that. I will stuff it and I will just hand sew this up. And like I said, I will give this one away later. But as I was saying earlier, because you've got this little piece here, it's brilliant for keeping all your binding clips and then all your pins and all in the center. You could, if you want to, put a little bit of stuff in under this bit before you do that top stitching, so that, you know, it's sort of slightly raised and a little bit more sort of like puntoed. But you've got, and you can see on this one, you'll be able to keep your binding clips. So it's just it was just a really easy little project when you don't get it wrong. Anyway, what lots and lots of you have ordered, which is amazing. Thank you very much. But some of the things I didn't show you earlier that are also in the 50% off is the sash in the dash, the colours that we've got left in it, and the binding that goes with it. So the binding is actually, I grabbed one of these, it's actually quite a wide binding. So you can use it for lots and lots of things, obviously, you know, just normal bias binding, placemats, all the rest of it. But it's wide enough that you can actually easily bind quilts with it if you don't want to make your own binding, or if you don't want to use Hayley's lovely craft yourself silly rolls. This, I grabbed a quilt that I did ages ago that I still haven't bound. Little piece of the binding, you can see that you can pop that on and it's wide enough to bind quilts. This is down to £1 a metre. I think there's 4 colours in it. There's a grey, a white, a navy, and a red, which, you know, I think it was originally £2.95. It's down to £1 a metre on this. In the Secret Sewing Club section, in the 50% off sale as well. It's more than 50%. Also, we've got 3 colours left in the sash and the dash. We can't get the other colours anymore, I'm afraid. But there's the red, the tan, and the teal, which is a beautiful colour. I don't know if Lots of you will have seen me use this loads and loads. If you like quilt as you go, if I just come up to the bigger one a second, you can do your quilt blocks. You know, you can use something like the London Labyrinth quilt, which is that one. Okay, there are a few left of that one. And instead of doing your own quilt as you go, you can use the sash and a dash. What it is, it's basically, it's been stitched through the center like this. So I'll use the red one because it shows up nicely. You flip this open, okay, and you put one block in that way, and then you just top stitch all the way down, and then you flip the other side open, you put the block in that side like that, and then you stitch all the way down, and that actually joins your block, so you don't have to worry about like the traditional quilt as you go method, which is what we've done on this one here. I use the tan here, I've just top stitched, but then you can decorate this. You can put rickrack down there, you can put cotton lace down there, you could use your decorative stitches, you know, any of your alphabets, you know, that you've got on your machines, you could add that in as well. You know, it's a really nice base. It butts up really nicely. Yeah.
Your signal coming in has just
What's
dropped, and you're a little bit pixelated. It's
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, kick some kids off the Wi-Fi or something.
Right. I will just go and shout at the kids to get off the Wi-Fi. Give me 1 second.
No problem. I'll
They've
go on the
probably just
website.
all like gone on to games. Give me 1 second.
Right, just give me 1 second.
I'm just going to go and shout. You show them the sash and the dash and the binding.
Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, so we need to be on this one, which is Sarah's website, and she's gone. Right. I thought she was going to give us a second, so I could switch it over, but no, she has gone. Right, so this is Sarah's website, and on there you can see she has all the Secret Sewing Club projects together. So if you go onto the Gecko Craft Lounge website, go into the shop section, and then she's got a Secret Sewing Club products one already there, ready to go. So let me see if I can find the sash and the dash. Oh, is it in the sale bit? Oh, a lot of the things that she'd brought to us have already sold out. But what we will do. Oh, right. Okay. I'm just finding it for a sash and a dash. There you go. Oh yeah, that's better now. It's gone back up to green. Yeah, you're perfect again now.
Anyway,
You're perfect
so
now.
yeah, so sash and the dash is down. It used to be £5, it's down to £2 a metre, because again I'm just clearing out the last little bits. Same with the binding, used to be £2.95, and then it's now on at £1 a metre. Even if you don't use it for, you know, quilting, the bias binding can be used for all sorts of things. I thought I'd show you some of the other little bits as well. So if I come back over to here, so I timed myself with this one. So this is one of the Brighton placemats, which is, where's that? One of these. Okay, so you get 4 in a pack. They're down to £11 for the pack. Frankly, even if you never make the placemats, it's the £11. It's worth it for the amount of wadding. It's, you know, it's cotton wadding, 100% cotton wadding. So, you know, you don't even have to use it as the placemats. You could just use the wadding in a quilt if you wanted to. But I made one of these little placemats. It genuinely took me 12 minutes start to finish. And the joy of these is, obviously, it's like paint by numbers. You will have seen us do June Taylor for years and years and years. But if you've got large prints like these Tula Pinks in your stash, because this is, and this one here, like the Alberta Skies ones, you've got a big section, you can use those big prints that you've got. You really showcase them. You can, you know, do them on lots and lots of things. If you don't want to make these into placemats, I've bound this one, obviously, but this could be the front of a bag. You know, you make 2 of them, put them together, and then box your corners with some straps, and it would be a really, really lovely bag as well. You know, think about them not just being placemats. Think about them being a quilt block and using the sash and the dash or the binding. I bound this with the grey, But I thought I'd just take you through, for those of you who might not have seen, I don't think there's many of you left that haven't seen June Taylor. We've been banging on about it for 10 years. It comes as a pre-printed wadding. Okay, so you've got all your numbers printed on there. This is obviously the Brighton one. It's the most simple one you can do. It's what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 lines of stitching, and then you're binding, and the block's done. You're going to start by putting your backing fabric on. Now, I decided I wanted these placemats to be reversible, so I put a really pretty, again, one of the new Tula pinks that we've got on the website on the back of it. So you're going to start by doing that, and you're just going to spray base this on. Okay. I can see there's a question from Sandra. Could you use the binding on Manx quilt blocks? You could use the sash and the dash or the binding on Manx blocks if you wanted to. If you don't want to do them like the traditional way, it would absolutely work if you wanted to do that instead, Sandra. No problem at all. So a little bit of spray based, and then you're going to put your fabric on the back. Now, the one thing I will say about the June Taylor patterns, because they all have a pre-printed pattern in them, they tell you to cut way bigger fabric than you actually need. So they told, in the pattern, it told me to cut a backing fabric, which was 20 inches by 17. When you actually measure this, it's actually only 18 inches by 15. So just measure them yourself first and save a little bit, if you're being tight with your fabric, because fabric's expensive and all the rest of it, don't always think about measuring it first, Sarah, and then cut it about ½ an inch bigger all the way around. You don't need to necessarily go, they're very, very generous with their sizing, which Sarah, I don't think is necessary. Yeah,
if you did cut it that size and you got it dead center, could you do the kind of quilt as you go technique to turn it over as effectively to kind of bind the edge?
Oh, instead of binding it, yeah, where you bring the backing fabric over. Yeah, you could do. Yes, yeah, absolutely, you could do. If you
maybe that's what.
Yeah, you need to leave an inch there so that you can fold the backing fabric and then over again and stitch. Yes, you could. Yeah, absolutely. So on the patterns that are included, it tells you exactly what size, and it is. With the ones on the front, the numbered pieces, do cut them to the correct size. It's only the backing that they seem to be extra generous with. So again, I've cut a piece of this Tula pink, and I'm going to pop that right dead center in, covering the number 1. The blue placement lines are placement lines, they're not stitch lines, so your fabric should be butting up to that. I'm using a little bit of plain for my sides, so they're going to go on like that. And just line those up, raw edges together. I'm going to pop a pin in there like that. And then I'm going to actually do 2 and 3 at the same time, because this is nice and wide. Saves coming backwards and forwards from your mat to your machine. So we're going to do 2 and 3 together like that. And then all you're going to do is stitch down 1/4 inch. Like I said, I chose these ones because I wanted to really showcase this fabric. There's lots and lots of options. This one, which is the sophisticated stripes quilt, these stripes that you use here are almost width of fabric. I think it's 30 inches, but they're 10.5 inches wide on these stripes. The whole quilt ends up being 40 by 50. So it's a nice size lap quilt. But again, this is a perfect one if you've got those, the K fabrics that have got big prints, Tula fabrics, anything that's got a big print. You're really going to showcase them with these projects, because you're not cutting them up too small. So what we're going to do now is we're going to stitch down 1/4 inch both sides of those strips. So hopefully the Wi-Fi is still okay. Brilliant. Okay. Yeah, just kicked the water, just shouted up the stairs, get off the internet. I'm going to take my stitch up to about 3. Okay.
I can guarantee there was an expletive in there as well.
Oh yeah, there really was. Yeah. I also got back, I'm in a game, and I was like, tough, get off it. I put my stitch length up to about 3 because you're going obviously through 2 layers of fabric, wadding and fabric underneath. So even though you're piecing at this point, you want to make sure that you're, getting through that wadding and your machine's not going to struggle. Pop your walking foot on if you want to, but not necessary. There we go. All the way down that side. And then we're going to flip it and do the other side. I think the nice thing about projects like this as well is if you want to try your hand at like some free motion quilting, or if you want to play around with your decorative stitches, they're small. Each of these pieces are quite small, which means you're not struggling to get a whole quilt through your machine. You can really, experiment with your quilting and play around with it without having to try and get a double quilt all the way through. So I'm going to go down that one and then back over to the overhead. There we go. Take my pins out, and then you don't want to put an iron directly onto your wadding because it's going to stretch it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just finger press that down for now. Once I've done the whole piece, I would then give it a really good iron, but either finger press it, or if you've got like a magic seam wand, something like that, use one of those, a little seam roller, and you can see that because they've done all the maths for you, this raw edge will then hit the blue line there, okay, as it should. All right, and then I'm going to put my number 4 and 5 on again, like that. Just line that up there because this is going to flip out and cover there. And this, I mean, the placemat's almost done. Apart from bind it, it's done. So we're going to put that one on there like that. Make sure it's all lined up. I don't know if anyone else does. Does anyone else do that? I scratch the fabric to move it a little tiny bit. It feels really odd, but it's something I've done for years. And, just if you scratch it, it just moves it back a tiny little bit and gets everything lined up. And then we're going to stitch down 1/4 inch that side as well. So back over. And down we go. So far, what has that been? This is the 3rd line of stitching. All the way down. Super speedy sewing as well. So if you need a quick present, maybe you've got a birthday coming up and you need to make something quickly, or you just want new placemats for out in the garden, when the sunshine eventually decides to appear. I do apologise, Jackie. She commented earlier, and apparently I've sent the rain her way. And I tried not to. I just didn't want to hear anymore, but it didn't work.
Oh, I think it came down from us this morning.
Say again, love?
I think it came down from us this morning.
Oh.
It's working its way down, I think.
Yeah, it's not a... You want to go... It's June. Come on, guys. We need a little bit of sun, surely.
It's really heavy at the minute, but it doesn't last for long. It will, like, proper tip it down, but only for, like, half an hour. And then it's done.
Right. There we go. So, those are now going to flip out. Take that pin out. That would help. And now I would give it an iron because I've got a big space to actually give it a quick press. So I'm just going to press those there like that. Now you don't have to do any other quilting on this if you don't want to. Okay, you can finish at this point and just bind them. But it is a perfect opportunity to play around with your decorative stitches, with different types of, your quilting and stuff. Try free motion if you want to. On this one, oh, excuse me, frog in my throat. Just for quickness, all I did was a nice, sort of wiggly line. What's the word? Not serendipity. What's the word? I can't remember what the word is. What's the word? It begins with S.
What's serrated?
Makes it
like
go like that.
knife?
Yeah, so it does that. Oh, I'll think of it in a minute and I'll be like, that is.
Oh, like a sine wave.
Yeah, it's just a wiggle.
Okay.
Oh, there's a word for it and I can't think what it is. My brain's gone today.
Okay.
There we go. You've got no rain in Talbot Green. Oh, Marilyn, that's not happy. That's only 10 minutes up the road and we got rain here. So actually, I'll show you how to do that one quickly. We'll just do a little bit of quilting on this one. Okay. You could stop there. All right. Have I got time to do a bit more?
Yeah, you've got plenty of time. I mean, we can overrun. It's not a problem.
Yeah,
do you mean
cool.
scalloped?
That's the word, scalloped.
No problem.
Serendipity.
Just making stuff up today.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that foot off because I don't want a 1/4 inch on there. And then we're going to add this one on. Make sure that it's tucked in and change that on my machine because it won't let me stitch it unless it's the right foot because it's cleverer than I am. Here we go. Where's the right foot?
See, that's a double-edged sword though, especially when you're trying to just
do something quickly. Yeah, it's just like, oh, just do it. And then I'm going to change this and get the line that I want. So I want that one there, and I'm going to lengthen it out a little bit. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to put the edge of my foot, pick an edge. So I'm going to put the edge of my foot just here against this seam. And again, go a bit slow and steady. And we're going to do that wiggly line all the way down. Okay, I've chosen a really easy one, but you could use any decorative stitch on this. Just to, you know, play around with those stitches and see what happens. Here we go. So if we come back over to here, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure out from there so that I roughly know where I'm going. Jean's answering questions. You've placed an order. Can you place another one? Yes, absolutely, lovely. If you've placed an order already and you think, oh, actually, I'd like that as well. If you put click and collect in the postage bit, we'll combine the orders for you so you're not paying double. Okay. Tell you what, I've got so much June Taylor all over my desk. I can't find a pen for love nor money. There we go. That'll do. That pencil will do. So I've just lined up. I'm going to do this about 2 inches apart. So I've lined up where the curve of that line is with my 2-inch line just there like that. And I'm going to draw just a little guideline just down so that I can follow. Got a rough idea where that line's going to go now. And then again, we just do another line down. But you pick, you know, we've all got the stitches on our machines and we never, well, if you're anything like me, you rarely use them. You know, I think I've got something silly like 1,100 different stitches on this machine. And I very rarely think to use them. So this is a
Could you save me some dead blades, please? Because my sharpeners.
Oh yeah, I've got about 20 for you, love. I'll chuck them in the post for you. Yeah, I've been saving them. I've got about 20 in a little box ready to send up to you.
Splendid, because my my sharpeners are winging their way here.
Ah, amazing. Yeah, absolutely. There we go. So again, I'm just using those check marks to line that up.
Everybody's saying the sound has gone, but everything looks fine on my side, and I haven't changed anything.
No? Oh, okay. So you guys lost
sound.
sound.
Lost sound. Yeah, everything. You're not muted.
Yeah, I've got sound through my OBS and everything. That all seems to be working. Yeah. It's definitely, you definitely jinxed us, woman. There we go. So I'm just lining everything up with those check marks. So what was that? About 6 minutes to do that whole placemat. And then you can use your binding. Now you could make your own binding, or like Hayley was saying a minute ago, I could have left the back in bigger and folded it over. But at £1 a metre, which this is at the moment, you can use this instead. So 2 ways you can use it. You can either open it out like that. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to do this. It doesn't want to move like that. Okay. And then just fold it over, and you can machine stitch right, like top stitch here, and it'll catch both ends. Or, despite how quick these are, I'm still a bit fussy about my binding. So I would actually open it out, which is what I did on the other mat, is open it out and machine stitch it onto the front, and then I hand stitched it onto the back. Okay, so we need a bigger piece than that. So we're gonna get a piece of the binding. I'm just gonna measure 1, 2, and then 3 and 4, and then I always do a 5th piece because you're going to use more going around the corners and joining it. Okay, so I'm going to add that on like that and cut that off. So if I could just measure that for you properly, I can tell you how much you would need. What's the name of that placemat? That the one I'm using are the Brighton ones. So that's ½ a metre, half, 1, 1.5. You're going to need about 2 meters per placemat, but like I said, it's £1 a meter at the moment. Yeah, I'm doing this one, Claire, is the Brighton Pier ones, and again, I liked these because I didn't have to cut up this pretty fabric too much. But there's also the Alberta Skies one, which also has a really big piece there. There might be a few of the Union Square ones left, which again has got big pieces. You've got a big piece here that would take a nice big print, and that's an 8-inch square in the center, so again would take a nice big print. Okay,
Right, Sarah, I'm gonna have to stop you because we've still got our other 2 guys, and Michelle has a pet and is ready to go.
Ah, sorry my lovelies, I was too busy yapping.
I know. Well, I know you're not like bothered if I stop you, so
no.
So let me go and get everybody and the pets.
Ah, hi.
This is the latest addition. Latest addition to our family.
Oh, what's his
His
name?
little puppy, Mabel.
Oh.
Mabel, I'll try and pick her up a bit more. There you go, Mabel. Say hello.
Oh, she's like a little scruffy dog. All the tufty bits.
I know. Little scruffy pup, this one.
Oh,
Yeah, she's
very cute.
what is she now? She's 16 weeks. 16 weeks old.
Oh. Oh, see, I've got at the other end. I've got a border collie, and she's 17 now, and
Oh wow.
Absolutely new, totally demented. Bless her. I mean, she's totally lost her mind now.
Oh bless.
She still loves going for a walk. She's all fine. We actually think she's a zombie now. Bless her. I mean, border collies only live about 10 to 12 years normally, and she's 17. She just keeps going.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, well, this little one. I'm not a dog person, but this little one might have converted me.
Oh, she's very, very cute. Very cute.
I'm gonna pass her over to my daughter now to take her away.
Have you got a duck?
Yeah. Might have a duck.
You've got a duck.
She's got a little duck. That's a big duck.
No, my daughter wants a duck now.
Look. Ooh. Steady. Look over there, look.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah, we've got a lady who had some of our hatching eggs. She hatched about 4 or 5 and then had a fox attack.
Oh.
Unfortunately, she lost them, and this was the last one left, and she's like, I can't take care of just one duck. Could you take it back? So we're like, yeah, right. Because it makes the friendliest. Look, there it is.
Aww, they're so cute.
You're pecking yourself.
Trying to peck the camera.
Yeah.
Right. So, Michelle, are you
Yes.
ready? Because we kind of swapped you.
I
you
am.
and
I
Sue.
am.
So now we've had. Do you want to? Anybody else want to bring any pets for later? Oh no.
We have
Oh God,
Show
no! I'm
and
not bringing
tell.
my smelly old girl. Bless her.
Well, we shall leave the pets for now then. Okay, so Michelle, I shall hand it over to you.
Okay.
Don't worry about overrunning. We've got bags of time. It's all good.
Okay, so we're gonna have another little look at a demo. But there's a couple of things I need to do first because otherwise I shall forget. And the first one of those is to. Are we on? Oh, we're down here. You're not seeing my face. I don't know what you've got now. Are we a face?
No.
We're a table. Okay. So I've got a little offer for you. I'm doing a 3-pattern bundle with 35% off. This is the cheapest I've ever done any of my patterns for. I did it. If you look on Etsy, you'll see it under Captain Chips or the Bursting Beach Hats or the boat. You'll find the offer there. But if there was something different you wanted, because I set it up on those 3, because it's hard on Etsy to set it up on everything. So I've set it up on those 3. If those 3 aren't the 3 patterns you want, off a few people watching.
Michelle,
so I just wanted to make sure I mentioned.
Do
Yeah.
you want me to just hop onto your Etsy page right now, and then people can have a
Yeah, you could
quick
do.
look,
That'd be a good idea.
before
Yeah,
we start
that'd be
the
lovely.
demo. If there's sudden shrieks, it's because I've still got a duck on my desk. So
Okay.
give me 1 second. It's fine. It's fine. So this is Michelle's Etsy page. So if you go to Etsy and then just search for Thimblewood or Sew Thimblewood, then you will find her there. And then you can see all of the ones that she's got on today. She's put this lovely Secret Sewing Club banner on so you can identify which ones they are. And then you can see the PDF patterns there that are within them. So if you pop those in your basket, and do you need a code for that 35% off?
So just message me. There's a notes box when you place an order. If those aren't the 3 patterns you want, just write the 3 patterns you do want, and I'll send the right ones.
Perfect. Okay, it's all yours.
Okay, so I've done that. We've sorted that. What else do I need to sort at the moment? One more little thing. I've been running a little competition. You might not have seen it, but I did promise people that I would draw the prize out live. And so I have a little pot here with everybody who got the right answer. It was a photo of Captain Chips, and he was on a beach somewhere in the UK, and I wanted people to guess which beach it was. And for those of you who know what I'm talking about, he was actually on Weymouth Beach. So I'm going to pull out now one of these names out of here. I'm not looking. Close my eyes. I don't know if you're on my face or my hands, Chris. Face. Okay, so this is the pot. And I won't look, and I'll find somebody who got the right answer. There was lots of wrong answers, not so many right ones. I've got one now. We'll open this one up, and it's Tiffany. So Tiffany, you are my winner. Hopefully you know who you are, and I will be in contact with you after the show to send that off to you. Okay, let's get back to business. We are now going to have a little look at our Highland cows. Now this is my newest kit. It's just come out fairly recently. It's a fairly straightforward little felt make to make 2 Highland cows. They've got a little hanging loops. You can put them on a Christmas tree, hang them up as a little decoration. Whatever you'd like to do. They'd look nice on a gift. If it was a special birthday coming up for somebody, it could be a nice little gift tag or something like that. So I'm going to get out my instructions to show you the basics. Okay, so here's the instruction booklet. And as always, you've got loads of information in here. I always start with all the materials you need, what you need to cut out, and then step-by-step photos throughout showing exactly how to make these Highland cows. Try and put in lots of detail. Now, you also, in your pattern books, you always get your templates. They're printed usually onto either a sort of a nice thicker piece of card, or sometimes if it's the bigger sheets, they are just a thinner than this. And they're all full size. You never have to go to a photocopy shop and enlarge anything or mess around. These are all full size. They're all ready to cut out and use straight away. So on this one, you've got lots of pattern sheets. But what I also do is I always reprint them in the back of the booklet as well. Because if you've gone and cut these out and then you've dropped one down the back of the sofa, then you've always got it in here to refer to. Now, obviously, you are going to have to, trace it off from in here. Otherwise, you're cutting your book up. They're all still full size. Sometimes I've got to, put them up sideways just so that they fit on, but they are all there. So you've always got them. Okay, so that's just a bit about the instructions. So I'm going to do go back to basics a bit for this one and show you how I get from this to a Highland cow. So I'm going to cut out each of my template pieces. This is one of them. And then you're just going to lay them onto your fabric. Now, I always use these as a marking pen. This is a Frixion pen. I'm sure most of you know what they are now. They are a pen that you can draw onto fabric with, and it says that they're removable by friction. It's not actually friction. It's the heat that's generated by friction that removes the line. So they just work like any biro. And I'm just going to hold the template down while I draw around. I've chosen quite a complicated one. Look at this. Give myself something hard to draw around, but there we go. And you can see all I'm doing, I haven't bothered pinning it or anything. I'm just, as I get close to a sort of a dangly bit that's likely to move, I'm just moving my finger down. So I'm holding it down so I can draw those lines without it lifting up. The template doesn't move then. We will get that. We'll get all the way around and draw around this cow. This is going to be the back of him. Right, have I done it all? There you go. So you can see now you've got a line. And from our point of view, the heat, if you'd made a mistake, you'd done that wrong, the heat that you'd use to get rid of this is just an iron. So when you iron, all those lines would disappear again. If I often leave these markings on to the very end, and when you've got something three-dimensional like this, you can't iron it. So just use your hairdryer and that will get the lines off. Okay, scissors. I particularly like these scissors. They've got a serrated edge, so they're really nice to cut with, and they stay sharp for a very, very long time. And what I suggest you do with cutting a shape out like this is that you move the fabric into the scissors more than moving the scissors. I'm not going like this with the scissors all the time. I'm trying to, I've gone a straight bit. I'm moving the fabric around and keeping the scissors fairly still. Okay, just cutting down to that. Now, when it comes to these awkward bits to cut out, I find the easiest thing to do is just sort of take off some volume of fabric there down to the sort of points of each of those ziggy-zaggy bits. You see I've cut to the points, and now you can just go in and snip in for each one. That's far easier than trying to get your scissor in, come back around like this. That's a hard way of doing it, turning the fabric all the time. This way you're just snipping in, and it's a quicker, easier way of cutting out awkward shapes like that. There you go. So that's going to be the back of my cow. We're going to do this one. This one's called Fergus, and this one's called Fiona. Okay, so that you can see is going to be the back of Fergus's body, and he's going to have one of those on the front as well. He's also got, it's all tangled up in my little box here, a sort of an underbody with his legs. That's quite simply 2 layers. I'm just going to clear some stuff out of my way a bit. 2 layers of a darker brown felt. Again, I'm using wool blend felt. It's about 30% wool. It's lovely felt to use. Really easy. It doesn't pull on the edges. Lovely to sew with. Yeah. So because I want him to have a hanging loop, we need to put that loop in straight away. I find if I put it in straight away at the start, then I can't forget to do it at the end. So those two are just going to go together with that little loop in the right place, and we're going to sew all the way around that edge, over stitch. And if you've seen me before, you know I just do over, over, over. Let me see if we can show it a little bit. It's hard to see. If you choose a thread that really matches your felt really well, you don't see the stitching hardly at all. And I tend to use regular machine sewing thread to sew around. Add a little bit of stuffing to make your Fergus body. Okay, what can I show you now? I was going to show you the head first, so let's go back to the head. Just a little thing, as I've just pulled it out of my box. When you do Fiona, her head is on an angle. So you sew that ribbon in at a really weird angle, and it looks incredibly odd. And every time I was doing it, I was thinking, this isn't right. It's got to be up there. It's got to be up there. It's not. You do need it off to an angle because her head is sort of on sideways. And so that way the ribbon still hangs up straight. Right, let's find my little face that I was doing. Aha, here it is. Okay, so the little face for the cow. What I've done, I've made a bit of a start. It's got his little sort of nose muzzle piece on the front. I'm just going to show you how I'm going to applique that onto another felt. I've got my needle threaded up with just regular sewing machine thread. And what you want to do when you're appliquing anything onto another colour, always match the thread to the thing that you're appliquing on. Don't use a brown thread, use that pale pink. And then when we take a stitch, we're not going to take a big stitch like that because you will still see that thread. We're going to stitch very close to the edge of the felt. Okay, I've got a bit there. And then when I bring my thread up, I'm going to try and come up a little bit if that makes it a bit clearer. Whoop, wrong way. I'm not sure if that helps or not. All right, it does if I move my finger. Okay, so I've come up within the area of the pink nose. And then when I go back down, I'm going right at the very edge of the felt of the pink nose. I've managed to loop my thread there. So that way, your stitches, then they don't show up on the brown at all. They're only over the top of the pink. And your pink thread then kind of disappears. So that's how you applique something on. Once, it's being a pain for me today. Once I've got going, I kind of, you know, just come up from behind and then do this stitch in the same go. So I kind of go in and up in the next position, all in one move. There we go. So I'll just put another couple of stitches in there just to show how you applique that on. So I think I showed you last time sort of around sewing around the edges. So that's a bit, it's a bit different. You can see now there are stitches there. You can barely see them because they're all contained on the pink piece, not on the brown. I'm just going to end my thread on the back quickly. And we'll go over to how we position his eyes. All right, let's get rid of that one. Now, you cut your template out as before to make the head shape, but I want to get his eyes in position. So what I've done, I showed you how to do it. I folded it in half and I've drawn where I want his eye to be. Now, I've got a little hole punch here. If you haven't got one of these, don't worry, you can just get a scalpel in there or even a big needle. But I'm just going to hole punch out his eye position. There. And well, because I folded it, I've now got both eyes in the correct position. So when we put that on there now, line him up, you can be sure that you've got a nice level place for your eyes. There you go, I'm just marking it through. And now you can see your eyes are sort of well spaced and exactly where you want them to be. I'm just going to quickly show you the little brads that I've got. We sell these little brads as well. These are a really simple option if you're making small things to add an eye. I've got some little safety eyes that we often use for toys, but they've got a little metal washer and they're really quite hard to put on. So this is a really quick and easy option if you're not into the difficulty of safety eyes. So I need to make a hole to put this little brad through. I'm going to use my needle and I'm just going to wiggle it around in a circle. That makes my hole up a little bit larger. And then I'm going to push the eye through. You see I put those sort of tangs, and that little bit up again, I'm trying to hold it up so that you can see it a bit easier. Just I don't know what the angle is that's best. There's two little metal tangs there. You get your nail in between them and split them apart. There you go. And then push it flat and the eye is in. And it's a really easy way, especially if you've got, you know, a bit of trouble with the movement in your fingers, a bit of arthritis or something. They're much easier eyes to fasten into what you're doing. And my husband is here telling me that I haven't got very much longer to chat to you. So I think I might just scoot on to, what can we do quickly? I can just show you how his hair goes in. He's only got one eye at the moment, but never mind. The hair is just made up of some layers.
Winking. That's fine.
He's winking. He does have, he's going to need some horns, and he's going to need...
Michelle, honestly, don't worry about the time. We can overrun because obviously we lost that bit in the middle where everything just fell over. So you do what you need to do.
Okay. Well, perhaps I'll put his other eye in because I'm feeling a bit mean.
Okay.
I'll put his other eye in a bit quick. There we go. They don't take long to do. They're pretty easy. There we are. And I was just going to show you quickly. I've actually given them some sort of lines, like little lashes on there, which is just stitched with 2 strands of embroidery thread. But I'm going to show you an alternative for the nose. See, for the nose, for the nostrils, I've did like a little 6 shape and then a backwards 6. But I've got an alternative that's quite easy as well, which I thought you might like to see. A simpler option. So what you do, your 2 strands of thread, I'm just going to come up somewhere middle-ish on my nose, there, up to one side, and I'm going to do a big old cross. Because I nearly did them like this, and then I did the little 6s, and then I thought, oh, they're quite a bit of sewing. If you're not into sewing so much, you know, not into the embroidery bit, then this is a really nice little alternative. I think that makes quite a little cute cow-like face as well. So let's go on with my horns. The horns are quite simple. You've got 2 pieces of felt here. 2 pieces of felt, put them together, and I would suggest that you start sewing here, go all the way around the top and stop sewing there, like I've done. See, I've sewn around there to there and stop sewing, because now you can really easily get in to stuff that side and that side. If you start from one end and sew all the way around, you've got a hard job to push the stuffing right into one end and have a kind of a messy stitch to do here. So do your both ends first, stuff, and then you can sew it up together. Don't bother stuffing this middle bit because that's going to go on the top of the head. So he's going to go on there. He's obviously going to have another head on the back. He's going to need the up bit. And then we'll carry on to our little fringy bits. You wouldn't believe how many of these I cut out to try and make it look right. Oh, my word. I've got hundreds of these random fringy bits to try and make the front of the cow's head look nice. Now, those I've sewn down at the edges, but I've not sewn these front bits down. As you can see, you want those front bits to kind of stick up and look a bit rustic. Oh, we haven't given her any ears. Oh, she's got no ears. He's got no ears. Ears. So we've got you need 2 ears, obviously, and 2 inner ears. And there we go. Outer ears, inner ears. Inner ears are the dark bits. They're going to go on there. And the first thing you're going to do is just sew all the way around the edge. Make sure when you're doing it, you are making a pair, that you don't end up with 2 ears facing in the same direction. So just make sure you've got a mirror image pair like that. Once you've sewn all the way round your ear, I've just folded that top section down over. There you go. There's one that I've sewn. And that is going to go, before we put all her hair on and everything, those go on the sides of her head there. Is she? I've called her he, she's whatever. She's yeah. Lost the plot a bit, haven't I? Right, and so Fergus, he's got a little bow. So in the kit, you get a little bow and a bow. Fiona's got a little flower. So I'll quickly show you how to do the flower. I've managed to lose the other bit of thread, but never mind. So I've cut a little rectangle of, there he is, purpley felt. We're just going to fold that in half, long ways, and snip in. So you like your fringing, don't go all the way through. You only want to fringe it so far. There you go. Snip, snip. We'll get there in a minute. You don't have to count how many times, just whatever sort of fits. So I've sort of snipped it all through. So we've now got a piece with lots of slits in. Now you just fold that in half and then roll it up. So I don't know if you've ever made quilled flowers. It's a very similar thing. And that makes a little flower that I've put on Fiona's neck there. She's got a little leaf behind it as well. It's kind of thistle-esque. I did try making a tiny little thistle, but it was a bit too small, really. So it's kind of gives the idea of a bit of thistle or a bit of heather in a little blobby flower. Okay, I think I'm there. There was only one thing I promised some of my regulars that I would give you a little sneaky peek of, and that's this one. It's not done. It's not finished. It's got a hole in its neck and a hole in its bottom. But I've been asked a million times, where's your donkey? Where's your donkey? I've got a nativity set. And yeah, for a long time now, people have been collecting the various characters. So one year I brought out the three kings and one year I brought out the shepherds and what have you. And we've got to the point now where all the main characters are done and everybody wants a donkey. So I've been asked again for a donkey. So I just wanted to prove I am making a donkey. He is on his way.
Right, let me go and grab the other girls who I can see are raring to go. There we go. Have I done everybody's mics? Yes, I have. So, nearly done. Sue, are you ready to do your last little turn?
Yes, I am.
Fabulous, fabulous.
Oh.
Just before you do, though, I have put the other bits on now. I don't think I'm going to get time because of the technical collapse to sew it together today. But I have a Crafty Self Study Facebook Live on Tuesday at 5 p.m. I'll finish it off there. So join me on the Crafty Self Study one on Tuesday at 5, and then you'll be able to watch that come together. It is quite jazzy though. It's not bad. It's not bad. So, Sue, do you have your assistant ready?
I have, yes, he's here.
Excellent, excellent.
I'll just switch the camera over so that we're ready to go.
Okay, you go for it.
Okay.
Excellent. There you go. You're off.
Right. Right, the first thing we do with this is just make up a little pocket, and that basically is right sides together, stitch along the top, along the bottom, turn it inside out, press it, and then a double row of stitching on the top because it does take a lot of pressure. So now the pattern guides you right the way through. To pin the pocket, you just pin it on the bottom or hold it, fold it back, and that's where your pocket will be. So let's stitch the pocket into place. Get the donkey going. But it does help if I put my foot on the treadle, doesn't it? Right. So what I want to do with this, I want 2 narrow rows because there again, it's going to take a lot of pressure. So let's just get that sorted. And we're ready to go. Put my glasses on so I can see I'm doing straight lines. Well, that'll do for the moment. I'm not going to worry too much about that. Again, another row. Let's just move that up a bit. As I said, I did this because I got fed up of knitting spaghetti every time I wanted a cable. So what we do now, just to hold the pocket in place, I do a stay stitch or a basting stitch. And if you're doing that on your machine, it's the largest stitch. You know, you're not going to see it. It'll just hold the pocket in place rather than keep putting pins in. So let's just do the other side. And that's that bit done. Just take the pins out. Quick press. You'll know I just love the iron. I think when I was taught to sew years ago, sewing teacher said, always have the iron plugged in. I can hear her now. Let's just snip off the ends. Now, we're going to do the elastic. And again, everything is on the pattern. Get your pieces of elastic. And again, you can use the pattern. If you hold it by the side, you can just pin it there or clip it, whichever, just so that it stays in place. Again, for the bottom one, would help if I've got the pins nearer. So just pin that into place. Now, just move your pattern across, line it up, and do the same again. Now, if you don't want to pin and you're quite confident, you can just pop it under the machine. So line it up, pop it into place, quick pin. Now what we're going to do, we're just going to do the edges first. So just make sure you take your pins out, don't get sewing over your pins. Now I like to just give it just a little, that's that side. A second. I mean, this comes together quite easily. I mean, what I would say is when you first start, read the pattern through. Just read it through. Turn it round. I was a bit generous cutting the elastic out. But I'd rather be a bit generous than I'm struggling. And then you stretch it, which is not a good idea. So again, take the pin out. Now, you can either measure or just go by eye because you want somewhere in the centre. I'm just going to pin it off centre so it holds the elastic. So then we'll do a stitch there and there, or a couple. Just to make it nice and secure. Making sure your elastic is straight. Now, because you've already, in case you're thinking, well, you're just sewing on to, it tells you earlier on in the pattern to iron your interfacing onto the back. So then just take it forward. Now, it doesn't matter if you go onto the lining because you just want that elastic to be safe, to be firm and in one place. So now, cut off the threads and on the back. Not normally. And then, roughly, now, it's not centre, it's just off centre because you're going to have a seam allowance. So you can, if you want to, just fold it across so it's slightly off centre, and that will give you a line. Again, stitch those into place. And going up here. Cut off your excess. See, these duckbill scissors come in really handy. And then again on the other side, just slightly off centre. And then we're going to, I said, because I've done all the markings on the pattern, it makes it so much easier because you don't have to measure, and I've done all that. So we'll do the other one. That's your elastic stitched into place. Cut off the excess. And on the back. Now, let's just trim off. I'll cut these off properly afterwards, but just get rid of those bits. So now it's time to put the hook and loop on. So you'll have two pieces. Just rip one off or cut it off. Now, again, use your pattern. Pin that down. And it tells you there. So just fold that back. You can see the markings, but just in case you can't, hold it up to the light, just mark it off. And then all you've got to do is pin that into place. Just make sure when you put your pin in, it's straight. And then we'll go around the edge. So I'm doing it in white cotton so you can actually see. I mean, ordinarily I would be sewing this in black because if I'm using black hook and loop, I sew in black.
I could totally hear you tweeting in the corridor.
Sorry?
Sorry, I apologise. Matthew has just come back and he's got the baby duck and he's running around with it in the corridor. I'm sorry, I shall turn it off so you can't hear me shouting at him. Bye.
Around. Now, I actually like just to give it an extra stitch. Because if there's one thing you don't want coming loose, it's your hook and loop. These are so popular with students, and because they, they're always losing the cables. So as you'll see, you've used the pattern itself to get all your markings on. Everything's in line. So you can see a bit of cotton there. Now, we've got to do the front bit. So that's the top. I've just sewn it on. Yeah, that's right. And then, because when that folds over inside, it will go down here. So now we need to attach the other bit. So on the flat edge, and again, it's on the pattern, top and bottom. Find it there. Hold it back. If you can't see your marking, there's the pen. Whoops. Just throw it away. That'll go in there. Again, pin it into place. Just make sure that it's straight. Yep, that's it. And we'll sew that in now. Oh, black on black's not easy to see, is it? as I said, once you've made one, I mean, when I'm doing craft fairs and I'm making them for craft fairs, I probably cut out 6 at a time. Again, go around it twice. Make sure the hook and loop is nice and firmly attached. Actually, I don't mind this being stitched on it white. Should have used yellow or something, pick the colour out of the fabric. Round. Now, now when I do say in the pattern to cut a binding out, which you can do, but I have found that if you don't like binding, it hardly alters the size of the purse itself. So what we need to do now is, first of all, we stitch along the top. Just a little bit. Oh no, hang on. No, we're not. We're doing it the other way. So we'll pin all this into place. Just check it over the other side. Yeah. So just pin it all, or use your clips. It's just a matter what you like. I actually like pins. And what I tend to do, I pin where the elastic is to start with. So just pin those. And then the other side. It's just habit, really. I've made so many of these. Again, pin that into place. Just go up and go around the top of the pocket, and then in the curve. One just to hold that in place. Just check back that it's all in line. Now what we're going to do, we're going to sew, we're going to leave a gap for turning, and we're going to sew all the way round. So all the way round. And all you're doing, you're just guiding it. Around the curve. Along the top. Around the curve again. And down. As I said, this is a quicker way of doing it where you don't have to add all the binding. In the pattern, I do tell you to do the binding because that's how I designed it. But having made plenty of them, so right, take all your pins out. All the pins out. Is there any questions, Hayley?
I had to mute everything because
Oh, right.
Matt's back from being out and about with my brother and my cousin, and he got
Oh, right. This is so
and I had to kind of deafen it for you because it was just squeaking away like mad. So I'm like, I don't want to distract you with that, so I just knocked everything off.
This is so mad.
No, once again, everybody just totally engrossed in demos today.
Right. Oh.
Right,
so now
we'll get more questions after the fact.
All right. Now's the time to just snip off those bits. And also, we're going to snip off the corners, and that's to reduce bulk. So all we do, you can either do it straight across, or how I like to do it, I tend to straight across and then just go in a little bit, just so you really are going to reduce that bulk in the corner. And I found it does make a difference. Get rid of that. So again, just in there. Now with the top, you can either cut little V's in, or if you've got, when I say cut little V's, the easiest way to do it is go in, not quite to the fabric, and just turn it. So you end up with these little V's, because not everybody has pinking shears. So you can just go around. Well, I'll do it all the way, otherwise it might look odd. So again, and again, what you're doing, you're just reducing it, because you've got to get it into a smaller curve. So in, I find this is the quickest, rather than snipping in and then snipping in again. There's more chance, there's less chance of you cutting through your stitching if you do it this way. Let's just pop another one in there. Then turn it right side out. Now what I tend to do, I gather it all up, get the top in, get the top through, and then now to get that nice and even, you can use a chopstick or any small piece of doweling. If you've got the turning tool kit, you can use one of the pieces of doweling in that. But I just find a chopstick does it. Get the chopstick. That's it. So push it into your corners to get your corner out, each side. And then get your chopstick, push it right in, and then just take the chopstick round the curve. That's it. Take the chopstick round the curve. And that's so much easier than trying to do it, you know, fingers. And I mean, what you can do, it's like when I'm doing the sides now. So I've got that, I'm quite happy with that curve. Let's get rid of any bits of cotton that I saw one when I was turning it out. No, missed it. So now, good old iron. Now what I do here, I actually let my fingers push the seam. Just push the seam open, or so that it's nice and neat, or two fingers, just wiggle it, as we say, wiggle it through. You will get a nice edge. So press it. Press that into place. Again with the pocket. Going round the top. Use your finger, because you'll feel it with your fingers. And you can see the seam underneath then. So, I mean, I've done these in all sorts of colours, and I've even done them in denim, and they do come out really nice in denim. So, press that bit. Rub it. Pull it out. Again, the pocket.
As you're pressing that out, Sue, what I'm assuming you're going to top stitch it, and then it's more or less it's there, isn't it?
That's it, yes.
Perfect. Well, while you're pressing that out, I will quickly show people your website again. And
Okay.
then we will bring everybody back together and say goodbye. So let me just...
Okay. Well, as I said, I'll finish doing this. I'll top stitch.
It's all
and
right.
then...
I'll while you're pressing it out, I will show people your website, and then we can jump back together in just a second.
That's it. Okay.
So this is Sue's website here. So you are looking for Design and Sew. You can either use the website, just type it in, designandsew.co.uk, or you can also just use the QR code that we've provided for you at the top of the screen as well. All of the projects that she's shown you today, so the Concertina purse was the first one that she demonstrated, and then let me see if I can find it. Where's the cable one? Oh, there's multiple pages. It could be on a different page. It's got a Victorian lady on it. Hang on then. I'm being given advice, you see, as I scroll down. Let me have a see if I can look here. Might be right down the bottom. She says, oh, but there's different options for that's a larger Concertina purse. That's a quilter's ruler pouch. Let me go and have a look. Now the next one. Card wallet, cable tidy, there it is, so there you can see, and remember that's the pattern to allow you to pick your own fabric to make that project as well. So there's loads of different patterns on there. There are loads of different projects, so do check, because some are just patterns and some are projects that come with the fabric as well. So you can see these ones here, all sorts of different colours. Right. Okay, so as Sue said there, all the patterns are full size. You do not need to enlarge them. It's just when I'm on the website bit, Sue, unfortunately they can't hear you. So I just had to reiterate that for you. But as I can see, you are top stitching as we speak. We are nearly there, and we're only going to overrun by 10 minutes. So, you know, winning.
Okay, I'll just stop this so that people can just see what it looks like. Let's put the needle up, because I can soon go around and tidy that up. So what you'll do then is just give it another press, and then take your pins out, fold it up, bring it across, and what I suggest is you give a nice firm iron on the top and on the bottom, and that's your cable tidy.
Perfect. Thank you ever so much. Let me go and grab the other two. There they are. Hello. Thank you very much, ladies. It's been, do you know what? We've had tons of watchers, but everybody's just been transfixed. There's been such good demos today. No, very few comments, because everybody just wants to see what's going on.
Yeah, but that's nice, because people are actually learning that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, have you guys got anything coming up? Any shows or anything?
I've got some online classes. No shows now till festival. But if you nip over to Creative Hideaway, I've got 2 online classes before Festival of Quilts with Adam. So we've done one already. It went really, really well. All sold out. So yeah, I've got those coming up. One in June and one July. Yeah, and then Festival of Quilts. Getting ready for festival.
Good luck with Festival of Quilts.
Yeah.
I just noticed that
I've got Doncaster in a few weeks, and then festival. So yeah, same here. Getting all ready for festival.
It's so much prep, isn't it? You've got to do so much prep for it.
So much to do. Yeah.
No, it's a fantastic show, but it is a commitment, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. If anybody's got any questions, my email address is on the top of my website.
Perfect.
So, just email me any questions if you're unsure about something or you want further advice. With the patterns, I'm always available between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m.
Oh, that's some good hours, that, Sue. Are you doing
it's some good hours.
Yeah, but it depends, because some people work early, some people work late.
So are you doing any shows this year, Sue?
I'm actually doing craft fairs at the moment in Peterborough. So
So you might, if you're in the Peterborough area, you might bump into Sue.
yeah, just drop me an email. I'll tell you where I am and when.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Don't forget, the way that Secret Sewing Club works is you buy direct from these suppliers. So all the websites and things are in the description for today's show. So do go and look them up. And if you've seen anything lovely and you've enjoyed the demonstrations, please do support everybody.